people are aware more and more that loneliness and isolation is a problem. And we're told, okay, be less lonely, just do something. But what do you actually do? Like, where do you start?
In 1599, merchants in Marseille formed what is widely considered the world's first chamber of commerce. Nearly 200 years later, in 1768, a group of New York merchants gathered at Francis Tavern to create the first chamber of commerce in what would become the United States 8 years later. Since then, chambers have spread to cities and towns around the world, built around a simple idea: people achieve more and advocate better together than they do alone. In 2025, a new chamber was formed in Seattle based on a similar premise. Connection is easier when no one has to figure it out alone.
Well, we certainly played with many different name options and knew that there were some risks to a chamber name because we associate chambers so strongly with the Chamber of Commerce. But we see that the Chamber of Commerce has done a really amazing job of reorienting society and building really community of business and advocacy of business at a national and international level, and that there are national level organizations, city level, and then even neighborhood level chambers based around commerce. And we really think that we need that same level of structure and organization around human connection. The goal is really that we create the structure and the opportunity, and then each city and each neighborhood is able to assess what their needs are and what the gaps are for their area. And the other piece that felt really important to us is to acknowledge and celebrate and uplift the efforts that are already happening in cities around the country, because there's so many people who are doing the grassroots work of connection.
That's Charlotte Massey. Along with her co-founder Aaron Hurst, she helped launch the U.S. Chamber of Connection in Seattle in 2025. Their mission is simple but ambitious: to address the growing epidemic of loneliness and social isolation. According to the former U.S. Surgeon General, loneliness can have a greater impact on our health than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. The challenge, Charlotte says, isn't that we don't know loneliness is a problem. It's that most people don't know what to do about it. So Aaron dug into decades of research on social connection, mental health, physical health, and community well-being. The result was a framework they called the 6 Points of Connection, a practical way to understand what connected life looks like, identify where we're falling short, and perhaps most importantly, figure out what to do next.
And so the 6 points are that you should know your neighbor and have an emergency contact in your neighborhood. You should be part of a community that's based around a shared interest or a shared form of play. So that could be pickleball or arts and crafts or sports or whatever it is for you. Then you should also have a community that's based around a shared identity. And that identity could be anything from religion to gender to race to the college you went to, like anything that feels core to who you are, where when you show up to that gathering, you immediately feel that level of acceptance because everyone there has something that is deeply in common with you. Then you should have a third place. So that's somewhere besides home and work where you are able to show up and feel belonging. Then you should have one-on-one connections that you can engage with at least twice a week. And this one is often the hardest because it takes a lot of time and oftentimes it takes really investing in the other points and then building those one-on-one relationships with the people who you meet. And then you also want to be part of a community that's based around giving back and volunteering and doing something positive for your community. And that can be like a really structured volunteer opportunity with an organization. It can also be building connection, and we have opportunities through the Chamber of Connection to volunteer and build community around building community.
If chambers of commerce help businesses find the support they need to grow, the Chamber of Connection is trying to do the same for human connection, strengthening the networks of walking clubs, coffee shop meetups, cold plunge groups, third places, and other community spaces that help strangers become friends.
And then we also support people finding their 6 points. So we run workshops around the 6 points of connection. We partner with city government. So we work with the mayor's office in Seattle and the Department of Neighborhoods. And with the mayor's office, we run programming supporting people who have recently moved and helping them build their 6 points of connection. And with the Department of Neighborhoods, we have a program called The Best Day Ever, which is basically an adult field trip where people are able to learn about a neighborhood and build connection with people they might not otherwise have met. We also run club fairs. So if you know that you are looking to find your community of play, you can show up and meet a whole bunch of different communities of play all in one place, connect directly with the people who are running the organization so that when you show up, you know that you already have a contact. They're going to be happy to have you there. They're looking for new members. And it takes a lot of that work out of finding a potential community of play. And then also a lot of the fear of showing up for the first time by yourself. And then we also have a national program that's called our Welcome Committee. And I really encourage anyone who is looking to build more connection to join the Welcome Committee. It is the perfect way to build connection for yourself and also to serve your community and create more opportunities locally. And what that program does is that we train you in the 6 points of connection. And then you commit that you're going to do one thing every month to build connection at the local level. Some of the things that people have done are hosting block parties or activating specific parks or parts of their neighborhood. One person is now hosting monthly neighborhood birthday parties at this bench that was just never used in the neighborhood. Someone who realized that language barriers were a gap in her neighborhood, and she brought in a translator, and so neighbors were able to talk to each other for the first time. And you're able to do that in community with hundreds of other people who really care and are looking to do the same thing and share learnings and support each other.
During our conversation, Charlotte and I talked about the science of friendship, about the hours it takes to build meaningful relationships, about the idea that finding a third place isn't just picking a pub on a map. You have to keep showing up. You have to participate. We talked about the simple but overlooked reality that connection requires effort. You have to make room for other people in your life. But one idea stood out.
We launched thinking that we were going to be very program focused and very workshop focused, and that the goal was to educate the most people and serve people who are lonely or who are looking to build additional connection. And one of the things we found is that a lot of people did not want to attend our programming. Instead, they wanted to volunteer. Even people who had never come to any of our events before and had moved recently and really should be there as an attendee felt a lot more comfortable approaching the topic of loneliness through the perspective of volunteering and serving others.
Again and again, Charlotte saw people looking for connection becoming the people building connection. There's something beautiful about that. Maybe community isn't something we find, it's something we practice.
Connection really is a form of service, because anytime that you go out and you put yourself out there and you do something hard in order to build connection, it's also building connection for the other person. So you really can't do it without supporting other people. And it's a lot more powerful to have that impact when you're looking at connection as a way of serving others, not just as something that you're doing for your own mental and physical health.
Find out how to connect in your community at chamberofconnection.org.
Connection is a topic that typically feels very soft and squishy, and friendship is something that's just supposed to happen. And so the approach of let's add charts to it resonates for me. I'm the type of person where when I first moved to Seattle, I made myself a spreadsheet of potential friend leads and approached friendship like a sales funnel. So that was intuitive for me, but I wasn't sure how well it was going to work for people who are not total spreadsheet nerds.
Sidewalk Ballet is a production of Big Creative Consulting, strengthening community through culture and place. Thanks for joining us on this small block of the Sidewalk Ballet. I'm Chip. I'll see you downtown.